Hi friends, it's Lori and welcome to Main Street Gardener. So today is gorgeous. Let me turn the camera this way. Look at these blue skies. It has been almost 50 degrees. We are going to be getting a lot of rain that's coming through, which is so needed. We have not had a lot of moisture yet this winter. So I'm really excited about the rain, but I just could not wait to get out when these blue skies and warmth hit. So I thought I'd come out to the garden and just show you how it's looking. We haven't been out here together in so long, and there's some things that are still looking beautiful in the depth of winter. But what I'm doing today is I'm gonna go ahead and tackle just a little bit of cleanup. I figure if I can get out and do a bag or two at a time. I just recently watched Garden Answer, and she tries to fill up her little truck once a day, and if she can fill it up, you know, that's making progress. So I'm gonna fill up my tidy container maybe twice and do some cut bags. So I thought I'd bring you along and just show you this gorgeous day and how the garden's looking and some of the plants that are doing really, really well. So let me get to cleaning up. I'm gonna zip through that, and then we will talk about some of the things in the garden. There I am in my shadow. And just how some things are doing and some things I'm excited about. All right, let's get to it.
So the one plant that you can absolutely clean up in January are grasses. Now I have two of these very, very large totem pole grasses. They are stunning. But they've gotten very, very large and very challenging. I'm not sure my tiny hedge trimmer is going to be up for this challenge in the future, but they are beautiful. So I'm taking those down now because they've pretty much had it, and I definitely don't want a windstorm or snowstorm to come along and have them dump into our driveway. So I did plant them to kind of hide a little bit, camouflage this support pole that we have in our yard on the corner of the driveway, and just to kind of block the privacy of the patio. They do a great job with both things. Now I have considered taking them out and putting something evergreen that I don't have to deal with, but they are so beautiful and they're my husband's favorite. So I think I've got some ideas of what to do with them this spring to make it a little bit easier and not have as much issue with them flopping into the driveway. So again, this is a totem pole variety. So really any grasses that you have in your garden are dormant now, and it's a great time to go ahead and prune them back, and then you'll get the new growth. Now, I didn't take them all the way to the ground. In early spring, I can trim them some more if I wanted to. Now, the second plant that you can clean up now a little bit is lamb's ear. Lamb's ear gets really messy in the winter, and we're about to get a bunch of rain. So I thought today I would go ahead and tackle a few of my lamb's ear. I have a lot of lamb's ear in my garden, but while I was over here, I'm just kind of pulling up the dead pieces, the underneath of the lamb's ear. That way it doesn't get all wet and mushy. You have to be careful. You really can't take hedge trimmers to lamb's ear. I mean, you could. It's a pretty hardy plant, but I find it's easier just to use my hands and just kind of grab that underneath layer and take it out. So it still does not look very pretty. It will in the spring, but at least I got some of the underneath cleaned up before the rain comes. Now I want to show you these humongous totem poles. So I have some ideas that I want to do to possibly divide them this spring. I'm just going to have to find somebody that can help me get that done. I think I could get possibly 3 plants out of this one on the right. It is ginormous. And then the other one I could divide in half. My idea is I want to put them further back where they're almost blocking this tiered garden and provide privacy to our patio, but aren't at the edge of the driveway where they flop. So unfortunately, these actually would be even larger, but we have to cut them back a lot during the season. Now, I'm also considering taking that beautiful planter and moving it out into the garden where it's more visible and putting one of the totem poles there. I think it could be beautiful in that corner. So I may cut this one into thirds, get some smaller plants, and place them just a little further back in this tiered bed. It'll really shade the garden from the driveway, and we won't have the flopping issue that we have now. So that's a project for spring. We don't want to divide and move them now because we still have some very cold winter days ahead. So I'm going to walk up the driveway to see what other little projects I could clean up today, but I thought I'd stop and show you this heather plant. These are little small compact heathers that just stay evergreen and bloom that beautiful pink color. Now I also have some dark red or red heucheras or heucherellas. They kind of hang on in the winter, but the heather is just stunning. So I actually would like to get some more to kind of fill in. Now during the summer, they're pretty shaded by the spireas that are located behind them, but it does not bother them at all. I think they actually like that. And then they just pop out in the winter and they're so pretty. So I want to add some more to the garden. So as we come up here, I do have another lamb's ear to clean up. You can see the hydrangea there. Now I'm going to cut this branch that's kind of hanging out, that's getting in my way for cleanup. But otherwise, you do not want to do your hydrangeas in January if you're in a colder zone like zone 7, zone 6. Even zone 8, you can probably maybe start doing them at the end of January, but you just want to give the hydrangeas a little bit more time and protect where you cut. You don't want to damage your plants. So you want to wait on those. I like to do it end of February, 1st of March, depending on our weather. So I'm just going to tackle this other lamb's ear because it has a lot of undergrowth. And again, with the rain coming, it's just going to get all mushy and yucky. I know a lot of people don't like lamb's ear because how it looks in the winter, but it is so gorgeous during the year that I just kind of ignore it. And it's typically, I plant it as kind of an understory plant, so it's not quite as noticeable. But let's get this one cleaned up and then we're going to head over into the main crabapple garden. So before December, we actually had someone help us with leaves, and we had over 90 bags of leaves, but we're kind of stuck in the middle here, and the leaves blow from all directions, and they really like to gather in the garden beds. So since I'm out here on this gorgeous day, I'm just going to continue for as long as I can. I'm probably going to fill one more basket. I find if you take just 1 hour and do a little bit of cleanup, it's good for your body, it's good for your mind in those winter days, but it also helps the spring garden not be so much work. When everything starts to come out, you've already taken care of a lot of the leaf and other cleanup.
Okay, so in cleaning out this crabapple bed, I'm not going to do the hydrangeas yet, but you can see this mess down here. That was a daylily. I didn't get to it this fall, so I am going to go ahead and take care of that now while I'm over here. There's also a few weeds I'm going to grab, and that's going to do it for this bed for right now. A bucket of leaves and a few things to cut back. We're making progress before spring. So this is one of our crabapple trees, and you can see the birds have devoured them. There are just nothing left but little calyxes where the crabapples were. So they've really enjoyed them, and so did the squirrels. So this bed, it's not perfect. My idea was just to get at least a bag of leaves up. So I've still got roses to do. We'll do those like the 1st of March, hydrangeas to cut back. So none of that today. I did get up the daylily that was left, but I thought I'd just show you because I haven't been out in the garden so long. These containers, this is the Everillo grass, and it stays evergreen, and I just love it. I've also really surprised I thought this was a vinca vine. I'll have to look back at my video, but it's just doing great as well. And then of course the little ball, Anna's ball, magic ball, arborvitae. So it's turned a little bronze, but that's okay. I think all the colors are really pretty. Then in this garden bed, I actually have 2 of those Everillo grasses. This one I would love to divide this spring because it's gotten massive, but I need more of these in the garden. Isn't that gorgeous in the winter? So, so beautiful. Now, my little pansies look sad right now, but they will come back. It's just a matter of time. They will pop back in the spring. The ajuga also is looking kind of rough this winter. I have a couple of ajugas that look great. This one is on a little bit, it's definitely gotten some winter damage, but it will all pop back up and I can cut it back. I don't want to cut it back now because it could get harmed when we get cold weather. You can see I have the patch of ajuga over there also. But cleaning up this bed felt really good. Getting a bag of leaves is always good. And then down in the driveway, I was able to cut back the grasses. We'll go take a look at that. Now in this second crabapple bed, the ajuga has been a little more protected. And you can see it still looks pretty good. It still will need a cutback, but I didn't get to this bed today, so it will be next on the list. But what I love is, again, the grasses, but also the gardenias. So I added 2 gardenia shrubs last year. They're supposed to stay small, but this one is pretty large. But look at the greenery. I did not know how they would do in my zone. And I love the winter color. It's really pretty. Also, the holly hedge is just doing great. So it really adds some nice interest in the garden. Let's look at the bed from this angle. You can see these are the small compact hollies that we added. My shadow's in the way, but we added these last March. Now I do get these little bitty, it's some type of plant that loves to grow under them, and it's interesting. It's a weed. If you know what it is, let me know. It could be violas, and they're spreading. So I may leave them and see what happens. But I really love how these compact hollies have just added winter interest and gorgeous green color. And I have them on this side as well. They have not gotten winter burn. Like you can see, this boxwood gets that bronzing. These hollies have not.
My microphone decided to stop working. So this is the upper garden beds at the end of the driveway. And if you watch my channel, in the late fall, I added an entire border of Nepeta catmint. Now, they were really beautiful, lush plants, and they stayed gorgeous, and they still are pretty green. I did not cut them back before winter hit because I did not want any cold damage. We got really deeply cold quick. So I've actually blown more leaves into this bed. I'm just kind of protecting these baby plants. And I'm going to leave this garden bed last to clean up. And I may come in and just take a little layer of leaves off the main garden area. But right around these new Nepeta plants, I'm just going to leave a little border just to help protect them, because I know we've got some really, really cold days coming ahead. So I'll do a little bit of cleanup in this space. There is some lamb's ear, some other things, but I am going to protect those baby plants. I also, as you see the other side of the garden, it also has just a few leaves. It's interesting where they land and stick. But you can see this butterfly bush. Now, it is not time to take this back. I will cut it back probably the end of March. Unfortunately, now I could trim it a little bit, but I'm going to leave the main stalks until I see the new growth, and then I can kind of cut it more. So people recommend waiting. I have cut them early, and then a hard freeze has come and it really does damage them. But look at this hole back here. I talked about this in a fall video, but now that it's winter, I thought I'd show you. I don't know how this happened in my garden planning. I just don't know. Maybe I thought that the viburnum, which are those sticks in the back, was going to get fatter and larger. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going to move this butterfly bush in the spring back into that spot where it should be. So I think we'll just get the auger out. My husband will help me dig a really big hole, and then we'll just kind of push it over. and hope for the best. It's a beautiful butterfly bush. It's been super hardy. You can see the trunks. So we'll give it a nice cut, and then we will move it back where it's supposed to be. Now, I also have this rose here that was temporary. It needs more sunlight. It's going to get moved to a different spot in the garden. That container still needs to come out from summer. So we have some things to do back here, but it will wait until much warmer days. Now, once that butterfly bush is back, it's going to give my new Nepeta border plenty of room and sunshine. There are grasses under there. There's a spirea. It's really going to be fun to see. And then it'll give me some space for some additional perennials that I can plant, as well as some ground cover under the Rose of Sharon and all around. I did add a little hydrangea right there that I was pointing to. So just a fun space that I can start thinking about maybe some additional plants. And I'm sure I'll even have some things I can move from other spots in the garden. So that is a definite transplant on my list. And maybe I can do it when I also divide those grasses. So now my little winter containers have done great, but they're looking a little worn. I do think I'm going to remove the holly just so it doesn't look so Christmassy. But I do have an evergreen wreath under there, and I'm going to leave it because my squirrels are still really hunting for their buried nuts and acorns. And I just don't want them in this container because it's full of tulips. It will also keep protecting the bulbs. They still can get water, but I love to add wreaths on top. If you have squirrel pressure or other pressure birds, it does help. This little evergreen is just done fabulous. I actually really love it in this space, but when summer comes, I want to fill this with annuals, so we will move it to another new container somewhere in the garden. So it is, again, a beautiful day. Now, another thing that I'm not going to prune today, but I will do it probably the next time we have a warm spot. This is the Major Wheeler vine. And this was actually from my mom's garden. I moved it here about 3 years ago, and it's amazing. But what I've learned about this vine is you can really cut it back. All of this green growth was new growth this year from where I gave it a major haircut last winter. I took it almost all the way back to the edge of the tutor that it's growing on. So I will cut all this new growth back, and I like to do it or want to do it when it's dormant. Last year I waited until it started pushing some new growth, and I think it'd be better just to go ahead and get it cut back. So I'll probably do that in February. Now, this is the incredible, my favorite hydrangea, the little quickfire. Look how the light in winter just hits these blooms. This plant does not budge. We've had 40-mile-an-hour winds. Nothing breaks. Snow, ice. It's an amazing, amazing plant. And the winter interest is just one of my favorites. I would have a whole hedge of that hydrangea if I had room. So not going to touch those hydrangeas yet. But look at this gorgeous, gorgeous day. So I hope you've enjoyed just seeing a little bit of the garden in winter and a little bit about some easy, quick winter cleanup that you can do. So a lot more things to come, but it was so nice to get outside today. I hope you're doing great and enjoying some sunshine where you are.